I think people getting logged in here. Yeah, I'm not sure what the weather's like where you are, but it is pretty darn cold here. You know, a nice holiday and some warm climate might be nice. At least our hockey team's won 2 games in a row here. Anywho, I want to try and maintain the integrity of the time that we said we'd get started here, so keeping in mind, we're going to go ahead and get rolling. There's a couple logistics to start as well for you and for any latecomers. I'm going to send you a link to this recording of this presentation, so there's no need to take intense notes. Also, if you have any chat questions, you can put them in the chat box below this presentation, and I'll address as many of them as I'm able to at the end. If I don't get to your specific question, no worries. Someone from my team or I will personally follow up with you to make sure your question gets answered. And if you're watching a replay, you can just email me directly and I can answer your question there. So again, hello again, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this webinar. This is Chris Fougere of Freedom Marketing Coach, and today I've got the great pleasure to be talking with you about using Google My Business, formerly known as Google Plus Local, to promote and build your business. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, there's a little picture of the sky and the title, and there's that suave-looking dude down there. That's me there. Also suave. Anywho, let's start off by answering why you should bother using. The fact of the matter is small businesses typically have very few extra resources, so they're very protective over them. And for that reason, I want to spend a couple of minutes explaining why it's worthwhile for your business to set up a Google My Business page. And the answer to the why question is pretty straightforward. There are 2 statistics that really matter here. One, 97% of consumers search for local businesses online. Second, the clear majority of local searches are done using Google, which is still the undisputed king of web search. Moreover, Google has clearly decided to put a lot of value on local listings in their on their search results. So if you take all these things together, you can see that Google My Business is an incredible opportunity to get in front of your target market. Right at the moment, they're looking for what you sell. Now, there's a list of benefits business experience when they use the Google My Business page. As you can see, Google My Business is a free resource that helps you get found online. It drives more traffic to your website. It gives you a chance to stand out amongst your market, especially if it's a crowded market. It allows you to inquire insights to your customer or prospect base. And Google My Business also helps you engage with your customers and prospects using a variety of media types, photos, videos, and it can increase sales with promos and special offers to your list that you build with your Google Local page. And ultimately, boost your overall profitability, which who doesn't want that? Now, before we go too much further, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what a Google My Business page actually is. So what I've got here is something new called, I like to call the Google My Business Podium Update. So I've taken a screenshot of a page here, and the search is Winnipeg Custom Home Builder. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this is a couple, but let's try and break it down here for you. So, in the simplest terms, Google My Business is a tool that allows business owners to update and manage their physical business location information and connect with local customers. Now, before you pop gasket and say, well, I don't have a physical brick-and-mortar location, no problem. You can use it even if you're a home-based business or a mobile business, right, if you go out to your customers. But let's talk about what the Google My Business page looks like in practice. On this page, you'll see a screenshot of SERP, which is otherwise known as a Search Engine Results page. There are very few components to this page because I've had to shrink it down here. But as most, at the very top, there's sponsored listings, right? So you can see Milne Homes and I think J West Homes, and it says add right there beside their listings, okay? Now this is a paid listing, okay? So basically every time someone clicks on this, they have to pay money. That's the advertisers have to pay, not the searchers. Of course, so every click costs these people money. But of course, they're trying to get new prospects, so they're willing to pay. Now, if you take a look just below, there's a map, and then there's 3 listings there, okay? And those 3 listings are the podium update. This used to be 7 spots, and now it's only 3 spots. And the reason they've gone down to 3 spots instead of 7 is that more searches are happening on mobile devices, that's tablets and smartphones, than regular computers now. So to keep up their ad revenue, they had to shrink this down to, so the gold, the silver, the bronze spot, I'm going to say here. Okay, so that's what the kind of thing that will come up when people search for whatever your keyword is. Now after this presentation, you can go ahead and go find your keyword and punch it in and see how you show up, if at all. Now what is a Google My Business page? So here's a local page right here that we're on right now. So at the very top, you can find out all the basic information about a business, from the address, phone number, how to get there by public transportation, and even prices on certain types of listings. Now, if you're a business owner, you can update and edit this information in your Google My Business account. Another cool feature is that you'll find the ability for business owners to post to their local page, which allows your local business to give updates and share information and have offers or contests with customers and prospects quickly. Now, further down, you'll see a section where you can upload videos and photos. That might not show up here because, of course, we've got just a limited amount of space on this slide, but you darn well can upload photos and videos. Now, other photos may appear from various sources, and you can click the photo thumbnails to visit its source. So the good news is a business owner can upload up to 10 photos and 5 videos. For each business listing. We strongly recommend using your full allotment of photos and videos, but we'll get into more detail on that later. Now, the other thing is, you can see here is there's a 5-star review on this Mannington custom home, so that's great. So the key for now is that social media is becoming very, very powerful, and users put a ton of trust in their social networks. So 90% of people trust online recommendations from people they know. But get this fact, 70% trust opinions of unknown users they've never met. So think about it. You are going down to Minneapolis or, I don't know, San Diego or something, and you punch in best restaurants in that city, whatever it is. Well, a bunch of 5-star listings and 4.5-star listings come up. You're not reading through all those reviews to find out what they say. You're just like, hey, listen, the general consensus is this is 5 stars or 4.5 stars, so that's where we're going to go. Now remember, people do that same thing with all types of businesses, right? So again, you want to have those stars. It gives your business an incredible opportunity to harness the social proof, right? And now you've got a psychological phenomenon working on your behalf where others think that that's the correct behavior to use your 4.5 or 5-star service, right? You want to capitalize on that as much as you can, right? Now, what does an ignored listing look like on Google Maps or Google My Business? Okay, now you can see here Ventura Custom Homes, right? Now, they've got 2 1-star ratings right there on their main page, which, you got to think of it this way, right? In the olden days, if you wanted to know about a business, you either had to go there or Yellow Pages. Well, now people can research your business, like Ventura Custom Homes here, do a bunch of research, take a look at this, and then never call because your reputation precedes you and not in a good way, right? So that's really important to know that this might be happening with your business or somebody's business that you know, okay? Now, basically, you have an obligation, in my mind, is this budget to claim your Google My Business page, right? So if you haven't done so already, the first action item when you leave this webinar is to claim your listing. It's a very simple 3-step process. Now you might be wondering what those 3 steps are, and they're right here. Submit your information from basic contact info to photos and videos, verify your listing by phone or postcard, and then wait for your listing to appear on Google. We've got here a screenshot of what a Google postcard looks like with your verification code. So now, why does Google want to send you a postcard with verification number? The reasoning is pretty simple, actually. Google wants to make sure that only businesses with physical locations have a local pin on their map. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to show your physical location on Google. They just want to make sure that you actually have a physical location. So even if it's at your house, you can put it on there without showing it to your prospects and customer. Okay? So now, that's what you're going to receive in the mail. The other cool thing is now you want to optimize your listing, right? This is the fun stuff. Now, how do you make the most of the new platform here in Google? You want to create a local listing that delivers the biggest return for your business, right? So by taking the time to optimize your listing, you'll raise the profile of your page, get more prospects to click through and visit your business, and ultimately purchase your products and services. Now, the simplest thing and the most important thing you can do to optimize your Google My Business page is fill it out. Seriously, that's it. Complete all text fields, even the ones that aren't required, particularly email address, website URL, description, and categories. Okay, that's really key. Now, we got a little here from SEO Moz. Think about it like being back in school and writing a paper. You'll pass doing the minimum set forth, but a little extra effort can go a long way. Don't fill out some of the extra details, fill them all out, and don't just add one photo, add several photos, right? That's key. The larger point is this: don't just do the bare minimum. Make sure it's 100% complete. In the optimization game, a listing that's 90% isn't an A, it's an F. Okay, so fill it out. Can't stress that enough. Now, the other thing is, for those of you who are toughing it out in crowded markets, like one I was looking at earlier this week, used car Winnipeg is a tough market, as is the housing market here for custom homes. But the next best thing you can do to improve the visibility of your listing is to acquire citations from other directories. So I've got a bunch of logos on this slide of other directories. What the heck is a citation? It's a listing of your business on another local directory. So here's the deal. Google crawls the web for information. That's citations, think about that, about your business from a variety of third-party sources, including Yelp and Yellow Pages. The more citations or mentions you have, the more content Google's spiders will have to work with, and the more authority your Google My Business listing will have. The more authority and credibility that your business has in the eyes of Google, the more likely your listing is to appear in the top of the results. Additionally, it's important to make sure that the information you submit to other directories is consistent. Accuracy across all or almost all citation sources helps associate trust with your local business page. Okay? Now, there's a more challenging but super effective way to boost the position of your page, and that's get your customers to write reviews. This means getting in the habit of asking your customers, particularly when they offer unsolicited positive feedback, to take a couple of moments to put their experience into words and submit it to Google for the world to see. Another, people a gift or enter them into a drawing in exchange for their time to submit a review. Now, if you take this route, it's important to stress that you're not asking them for a positive review, because that would be a bribe and breaking the terms of service of the Google My Business page. Okay? You want to emphasize that you want them to be honest in their assessment of your company, and they'll get rewarded whether the review is good or bad, right? And then more often than not, people will be happy to write that review. Now, a few people are going to be like, I don't know what to say. So if that happens, just give them a few prompts, right? But be careful not to put words in their mouth, because a review might come across as, scripted and insincere, which, of course, needless to say, defeats the purpose. Lastly, here's a word to the wise. Do not, under any circumstances, write bogus reviews and submit them under a pseudonym. We'll talk more about why this is a bad idea shortly, okay? Now, the other thing you can do is add a ton of images to your pages, right? To your page, SEO analysts have documented a strong correlation between a page's ranking and the number of photos and videos it has. So make sure to max out the allowable images and videos. High quality photos will really help your business stand out from the crowd. So if you have to recommend hiring a local photographer to take some photos. They'll go a long way, and you can leverage them on other platforms like we showed you earlier, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. Now, we have a couple of minutes to identify some hazards and pitfalls that you should avoid when using Google My Business. Okay? I might sound like a broken record here, but it's worth mentioning again. Don't leave gaps in your page. Fill it out completely. As I mentioned earlier, page completeness is one of the most important ranking factors. It's vitally important for you to dot every I and cross every T when you're setting up your listings. Don't just go through the motions, right? Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise, but a fresh, regularly updated page will always outperform a stale and neglected page. If you want your Google My Business page to really deliver value to your business, you need to add some value to it on a regular basis. Right? Consider creating a reoccurring calendar event to remind yourself to log into Google and freshen up your page and read the latest. This will also give you an opportunity to view your analytics and see how your page is actually performing. Unfortunately, many businesses have received some really bad advice when it comes to Google My Business pages, right? One of the first and worst pieces of advice is to stuff your page with keywords, okay? Do not stuff your name, description, and or categories with keywords, right? That is just a terrible idea. I'm going to go so far as to say dumb for two reasons. First, it tempts the wrath of the Google gods who consider it a form of spamming. Second, it just makes you look cheesy to your would-be customers and prospects. By all means, do some keyword research and use those keywords in your page, but don't overdo it, okay? Now, I'm going to go over some frequently asked questions that businesses have regarding the Google My Business platform, right? And if you don't see your question here, don't hesitate to ask me when I open up the questions, and you can type them into the chat box, right? So number one, how can I make the most of my listing on Google? Now, we've already covered the basics, but I'll review them anyway. Because repetition is the mother of learning and the father of excellence. One, make sure your listing is complete. More than that, make sure you've taken every opportunity to go above and beyond the bare minimum. Add a bunch of photos and take time to write a compelling company description. Create listings in other directories, making sure to include the exact same information in each one. And lastly, encourage your happy customers to write positive reviews. Next question, what if I get a bad review? Can I take it down? The bad news is that you can't take it down unless it violates Google's terms of use, and that's a very tough case to make. It's going to really require an egregious situation to convince Google to remove a review. Google will look for any reason to leave the comment in Google My Business. That's not because they're heartless or don't care about your reputation, but it's because they need to maintain their own reputation as a fair and neutral party. But you can always attempt to diffuse bad reviews by responding publicly. I will tell you, when I had my restaurant for 12 years, I had to respond publicly as soon as I found out that I had a Google local page or, for example, a Yelp page or a Facebook review page. I had to talk to these people and try and get them to understand that, we didn't obviously look to be making mistakes and that we wanted to make sure that we rectified any mistakes that we did make, right? And in some cases, this ended up being a PR victory for my business. And it could be for yours because it shows the public that you take customer complaints seriously and are committed to excellence, right? So although many businesses get nervous about a Google My Business page because it's out of their control, at least the review part, it's our belief that you should really embrace this feature, right? Both positive and negative feedback can be good for your business and help it grow, even though sometimes it's hard to hear, right? Think about it this way. A customer who has written a review has taken the time to invest in the success of your business. If you made a business improvement based on that review, you should thank the user and share the change. Right? Another common question is, why isn't my listing showing up in the search results? Okay, this is a good question that deserves a good answer. And not surprisingly, the thing to note is that Google My Business has gotten very competitive. In the old days, you could simply fill out your business listing on Google and see it in the old 7-pack. a few weeks later. These days, if your listing doesn't have a 100% score, you can forget about being listed in the top 3 now. It's the old Google 3-pack, the podium update we went over earlier. There are a good number of ways to vie for a good position, as we covered earlier on this webinar. Now, why is there already a listing for my business? Well, it's pretty simple. Google spiders can crawl the web and assemble a page automatically using the information they find from other domains. Additionally, new listings can be created by, get this, anyone, which brings us to the last question. Why do I need to claim my listing? Claiming your listing has several benefits. The first and most important is that it locks your listing to everyone else. You now own it and the majority of its contents, of course, excluding customer reviews. Okay? Another benefit is that claiming your listing provides information on who is viewing it. You can see how many times your listing has shown up in searches, how many people viewed it, okay, and how many people asked for directions, you know, if you've got a storefront. Now, at this point, you might be feeling overwhelmed. And to be perfectly honest, there will be some challenges in this process, right? And some ongoing effort will be necessary to be really successful. But don't be discouraged by these challenges, because I want you to recall all the benefits, right? Google My Business is a great tool to have in your marketing arsenal. It's a form of advertising that's affordable, effective, and relevant. Further, recall that 97% of consumers use search engines to find local companies, with 2/3 using Google to do so. The other thing is, you can do it. Google My Business is not rocket science, not by any stretch of the imagination, so don't worry. You have everything you need to be successful, and if you need help or encouragement along the way, you can always call on me or a member of my team to get you unstuck. Hey, so we made it, everybody. That's the end of the presentation. I hope this has been helpful, and I really appreciate the time you took out of your busy schedule to be here with me today. Now, please take what you've learned here today and apply one thing today, one thing tomorrow, and one thing the next day, and don't till your business is taken off like a rocket. I guarantee you it'll be worth your time. So I'm going to open it up to a couple of questions like we've had in the chat box here, and I've got a couple of good ones. I'm just going to answer them right here. Can I hire someone to submit positive reviews to my Google My Business page? No. This practice violates the terms of most web directories, especially Google, even if the reviews are legitimate. Maybe they came from surveys or comment cards or something else. Even then, you're not supposed to submit them on behalf of the original author, according to Google's policy, right? So make sure you're asking your clients to give you positive reviews. And I'm actually going to give you a link to a tool that you can use to do that and get a bunch of great reviews quickly. Now, secondly, what if door or an office, basically a kind of a brick and mortar place? Can I still create a listing? And the answer is absolutely yes, right? But you still need to submit a mailing address to Google to create your listing, right? If you work from home or your mobile business, you can specify a service area in the sign-up process and opt to hide your address from your customers and or prospects, okay? So now, if you didn't have time to answer your question here or what have you, please feel free to give me an email at Chris@Freedom Marketing Coach, and I will answer your question. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And again, if you'd like some assistance using Google My Business for your business or general internet marketing strategy, we'd love to help. Please get in touch. And as a special bonus, right, I have a tool that you can test drive free for 30 days that eliminates the potential of bad reviews by 95% and will help you get the required 6 reviews, and in this case, you want to get 5-star reviews to compete in that 3-pack or podium update that I showed you earlier here. So right at the end of this presentation, you'll be redirected to go sign up for a free account so you can try it out. And again, if you use it right, you should be able to get 6 reviews and 5-star reviews, legitimate ones, before the 30 days is up. Just follow the email hints and tips and tricks that you get every day from me, and you will be able to explode your positive reputation online. So thanks again, and take care, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.